In this video, I'll be discussing the four methods of computing simple interest given time between dates. This is the formula for the computation of the simple interest I. I is equal to P times R times T. I is the interest, P is the principal, R is the rate of interest, and T is the time period. If you say interest, this is the amount paid for borrowed money. The borrower shall pay the interest to the lender. On the other hand, the principal, denoted by P, is the amount that is initially borrowed. At the point of view of the investor or lender, the principal is the amount being invested or being lent. Now, R is the rate of interest at which the principal is given to the borrower for a certain time. In the computation, R should be in decimal form, like the rate of 5% should be converted to its decimal form, which is 0.05. 10% to 0.10, etc. T is time. This is the time period from the beginning when the money was borrowed to the period when the money shall be returned with interest. In the computation, T should always be in years. When the given is in days or months, you need to convert this given time in years. Later, we'll be dealing with examples where we'll be needing to convert to years the time given in months or days. These are the four methods in computing simple interest given the time period between specific dates. Ordinary interest using actual time, ordinary interest using approximate time, third, exact interest using actual time, and fourth, exact interest using approximate time. Recall that for ordinary interest, the denominator is 360 here, and that for exact interest, the denominator is 365. This is the case when the time is given in days. Computing the ordinary interest using actual time is actually what we call the banker's rule. Again, this is the banker's rule. What are this actual time and approximate time? Actual time is the actual number of days between two specific dates, while approximate time is the number of days between two specific dates where each month is assumed to have 30 days. If you say actual time, we need to consider this actual number of days of the months. That is, January has 31, also March has 31, May, July, August, and October all have 31 days. February has 28 days if it's not a leap year, whereas if it is leap year, we should add 1 day more to have 21 days. The rest of the months, April, June, September, and November, of course, have 30 days. Whereas for the approximate time, each month is assumed to have 30 days. So lahat yan, 30 days. Now, let's have some examples. Suppose a loan of 20,000 pesos was made last July 8, 2022 and is to be paid on December 2022. If the interest rate is 4%, calculate the following: ordinary interest using actual time, ordinary interest using approximate time, exact interest using actual time, and exact interest using approximate time. Note that the given here are this 20,000 pesos is our principal, and we have the rate of interest, which is again 4%, which will of course be written as 0.04 in decimal form. Now, this date here, July 8, 2022, is the loan date, That's the original date of the loan. And this December 20, 2022 is what we call the maturity date. The maturity date is, of course, the date on which a debt must be paid in full. So we may write this original date as our D sub 0, then this maturity date as our D1. Okay. Take note, July is the 7th month of the year. So we can write D sub 0 as 7/8/2022. An alternative way of writing the date. And our maturity date, of course, is December. That's 12/20/2022, right? It's crucial, guys, that we must be able to get the correct approximate time and the correct actual time. So we'll start with the approximate time. First, we write this loan date and the maturity date following this format. We start with the year, then the month, then the day. Okay, we'll have the maturity date first, then the loan date there. Okay, and following this format here, starting with year, for this maturity date, we'll now have it as 2022. The month there is 12, that's December, so that's 12. Then the day is 20. Similarly, for the original date, we have here July 8, 2022. So we start with this year, 2022. Then that's July 8, so that's 7. Then the day there is 8. Then we'll subtract. Take note, we are trying to get the approximate number of days, that is the approximate time. Now, starting with this column for the days, okay, parang nagsusubtract din tayo ng numbers, no, in arithmetic. We'll have 20 minus 8 is 12. So that's 12 days. Now, with the months there, 12 months minus 7 months is 5 months. Then, the year, 22 minus 22, 2022, of course, is 0 year. So that for the approximate time now, this will now be equal to 5 months. Take note, we are to come up with number of days. So, by the approximate procedure, we assume that there will be 30 days in a month. So, we'll now multiply 5 by 30. Okay, then add 12 there. So, this will now become 150 is, 5 times 30 is 150 plus 12. So, this will become 162 days. Ayan, okay? Pagdating naman dito sa actual time, okay, we need to write all these months, no? All these actual months, starting with this initial date of July. Okay, so we'll have here July. Take note, from July 2022 to December 20, 2022. So we'll have all those months there. July, then August, okay, September, October, November, then December. Start tayo dito sa maturity date, no? December 20. So unahin natin itong date na yan. So December 20. Okay? Now, with regard to this loan date, which is July 8, take note, you need to determine the actual number of days in this month, no? July, and we know that it's 31. So we'll subtract 8, this date here, from 31. So this will be equal to 31 minus 8, and it will give us 23 days there. Now, for the other months of August, September, October, and November, of course, assign the actual number of days. No? August has, of course, 31. September has 30. October has 31. Then November has 30. Okay. If you'll add, of course, you'll get what? 165 days. So this is now the actual time. Okay? 165 days. Kapag na-solve na natin yung approximate time and actual time, madali na lang guys. Na? Okay? Take note, the first two formulas are for ordinary interest. So later on, our divisor will be 360. Itong last two formulas are for exact interest. So the denominator later on there will be 365. So using the same formula, I is equal to PRT, where the principal here is 20,000 pesos. The rate of interest is 0.04. Okay. And the time T now is what? Take note, this is ordinary interest using actual time. So itong actual time na to ang gagamitin. No? 165 over 360. Okay? We'll simplify this later. For the ordinary interest using approximate time, ganyan din. No? The divisor will be 360 also. But of course, we'll be using yung 162 days. So this will now be equal to 20,000 pesos. Okay? Times the rate of interest. Now, this is approximate time. So yung na-compute natin kanina is 162 over 360. And so we'll simplify this later on. On the other hand, for this third and fourth methods, no, we'll be solving for the exact interest. So expect that the denominator instead of 360 will be 365. So the same formula again, it is I equals PRT, where P, the principal is 20,000, R is 0.04. Okay. Now we have to make use of the actual time, it says here. And the actual time again is 165. So this is 165 over 365. Okay. So pagdating dito sa number 4 na method, ganito din pero we'll make use of the approximate time. No? So this will now become 20,000 pesos times 0.04. Okay. Times the approximate time is 162 all over 365. Right? Okay, so when you'll simplify this, you'll get this one will be 366.67, while the second one will be 360 pesos. Then the third one will be 361.64 pesos. And the fourth one is 355.07 pesos. Now, let's have a second example. Suppose there's a loan of 10,000 pesos, which was made last September 6, 2022, and is to be paid on May 2, 2023. If the interest rate is 6%, we'll be computing this for types of simple interest. P here is the principal, which is 10,000 pesos. And the rate of interest is 6%, which is to be written as a decimal number, so that's 0.06. Then the initial date, the date of the loan is September 6, 2022, which will now be written as, okay, September is the 9th month of the year, so 9/6/2022. And the maturity date is May 2, 2023. So that's 5/2/2023. Ayan. Again, unahin nating i-compute yung approximate time, then yung actual time. Kasi pag nakuha na natin yung approximate and actual times, of course, it will be very easy to compute for those 4 types of interest. No? So we'll start with approximate time. Okay. Again, we'll follow this format. We'll start with the year, then the month, and the day there. Okay. Starting with the maturity date, then later on the date of the loan or the original date there. Okay. Now D1 will be what? From here, we start with the year 2023. Okay. May 2, so that's 5, then 2. Then D0 is starting with the year 2022, and the month is 9, and the day is 6, right? Now we'll try to subtract. So minus 6, well, it cannot be, so we need to borrow 1 from this 5 here. But you need to take note, no? Well, borrowing 1 from here, it will now become 4. We need to take note that that is 1 month, and this is pertaining to days here. Taking note that 1 month is equivalent to 30 days, i-add natin yung 30 na yun dito sa 2, no? To come up with 32. Okay, so we'll erase this one. We are now ready to subtract, no? 32 minus 6 is 26 days. Yan. Okay. Now for the next column, the column for the months here. So 4 minus 9, well, it cannot be. So again, borrow 1 from here. But take note, this is year. So this now become 2022. So 1 year, and how many months do we have in 1 year? Meron tayong 12 months. So i-add natin yung 12 na yun dito sa 4. Okay. So 12 plus 4 is 16. So we can now subtract, no? 16 minus 9 is 7 months. Okay. Then for the year, we have 2022 minus 2022. Of course, that will be 0. So that will be 0 year. Okay. So the approximate time now will be what? 7 months times 30 days plus 26 days. And that will be equal to 236 days, right? Now for this actual time, we start with this initial date or the date of the loan. Okay, so the month there is September, so we'll write September, then write the other months until this May 2 of 2023. So from September, we have, well, October, November, December, okay, January, February, March, April, then May. Again, for this last month, which is the maturity date, write that day there, which is this date here. Okay, then that will be the number of days there. Now for September, you need to take note of this date here, which is September 6. And take note of the actual number of days din sa September, which is 30. I-subtract natin yung 6 sa 30. So that will be 30 minus 6. This will give us 24. Okay. Then for all these months here, you need to determine the actual number of days, right? We know that there are 31 days for October. November is 30, then 31 days for December, and January is 31. Take note, 2023 is not a leap year, so there will be 28 days for February, and for March we have 31, and April is 30. Okay, if you add all this, you'll get the the actual time, okay, to be equal to, okay, 238 days. Yan. Take note dito kanina sa approximate time, we were able to compute as 236 days, right? Because this is 210 plus 26, so 236 days. Kapag nakuha mo na yung approximate time at saka yung actual time, then it's gonna be simple, no? To compute for the ordinary interest using actual and approximate times, and exact interest using the same actual and approximate time. Okay, we are to make use of the same formula. I equals PRT. Dito P is 10,000. Okay, R is 0.06, Then the time is 200. Take note, this is actual, so we use 238. So 238. And take note, the denominator here is 360 because this is ordinary interest. Okay? For us, for this second method, the same. I is equal to 10,000 pesos times 0.06. Okay? But now we are to make use of the approximate time. It says, ito, 236, no? And the same denominator, 360. For these two methods, number 3 and number 4, I is equal to the same principal, the same interest rate, okay? And now the actual time is 238, but this time the denominator is 365, right? And similarly for the fourth one, exact interest, using approximate time, okay? We'll just have the approximate time here, which says 236, so that will be 236 divided by the same 365 because this is exact interest. If you simplify all this, then we'll get these values: 396.67 pesos. Now for the second one, it is 393.33 pesos. Then the third one, 391.23, and the fourth one is 387.95. There you go. Now let's have this third example. Suppose a loan of 30,000 pesos was made last August 5, 2022. So August 5, 2022, there is the date of the loan, and is to be paid on March 4, 2024. So March 4 is the maturity date. That is 2024. If the interest rate is 7%, compute the following. So the same, no? Four types of interest here. Okay, clearly, again, no? P is equal to 30,000 pesos. That's the principal. And the rate of interest is 0.07. Okay. And the initial date, or the loan date, is August 5, 2022, written now as 8/5/2022. And the maturity date D1 will now be what? March. So that's 3/4/2024. Again, guys, we'll start computing for the approximate time. No? So the approximate time, okay? Again, we follow this format. Okay, we write the dates, no, starting with the year. Okay, so we have here year, month, and days. Okay, now we'll start with the maturity date. Okay, D1. Okay, year here is 2024. Okay, month is 3, then the day is 4. Then the date of the loan is 8/5/2022, so that's 2022. August, so that's 8 for the month, then this is 5 here. Then we'll get the difference. Okay, now we subtract, no, column by column. 4 minus 5 cannot be, so we borrow 1 from here to have it 2 here. Pero syempre 1 month yan, no? So we assume to have 30 days in a month. So yung 30 days na yun ma-add dito sa 4, kaya magiging 34 yan. So we now subtract 34 minus 5 is 29. Okay, then go to the next column. 2 minus 8, take note, these are in terms of months, no? So 2 minus 8 cannot be, so we borrow 1 year from 2024 and write it now as 2023. Take note, 1 year borrowed is equivalent to 12 months. So yung 12 months na yun, i-add mo dito sa 2, kaya magiging 12 plus 2 is 14, right? Then we'll subtract. 14 minus 8 is 6. Take note, itong 29 na to is in days, whereas yung 6 is in months, right? Now we'll have 2023 minus 2022 is, of course, 1. So that's 1 year. So the approximate time now is what? 1 year times 360 days. Because for approximate time computation, we assume that there are 360 days in a year, because we assume that there are 30 days in a month, right? So this should be 360 days plus 6 months times 30 days plus 29 days. And this will be equal to 569 days. Okay. Now for the actual time, okay. So we have to consider year by year. So I mean to say, with this initial time, this loan date na August 5, 2022, start tayo ng August, no? Hanggang December ng 2022. Okay? So August, then September, October, November, then December. Take note, for December 2022, we have until December 31. Kaya 31 yan. Okay? Ngayon, pagdating sa August, siyempre, this is 5. So, take note, there are 31 days in August. So, subtract natin yung 5 na yun from 31. So, 31 minus 5, then we'll get 26 days. Then, assign the actual number of days for this month of September, October, November, and December. So, for September, we have 30 days. October, we have 31. Then, November, we have 30 days. So, kapag i-add mo yan, 6, 7, 8, no? That's 8. Then 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. So, that's 148. Okay. So, ito ay para lang sa August 2022 to December 2022. Now, for the year 2023, ayan, ilang days meron? This is not a leap year, so this would be 365 days. So, i-add natin to mamaya, no? Dito sa 148. We still need to have the remaining portion of the time period, no? That is from dun sa year 2024. We start with January 1, okay? Yan. Then February until March, no? Again, dun sa maturity date, sulat mo agad yung 4, no? Which is yung nandyan, okay? Now, February 2024 is a leap year, so this must be 29. Ngayon, pagdating dito sa January, starting with January 1, knowing that there are 31 days in January, so subtract mo yung 1 na yun. 31 minus 1, so magiging 30 days. So, adding this 3 here, 3 values, we have 13, carry 1, so that will be 63. Okay? Now, adding this 3, 148 plus 365, then 63, we'll have 576 days. Ito na yung actual time. Okay? So that, in determining these 4 types of interest here, we'll adopt these values of the approximate time, 569 days, actual time, that's 576 days. Okay? So this will be what? I is equal to the principal, which is 30,000, times the rate of interest, which is 0.07, times the actual time, which is 576. Take note, this is ordinary interest, kaya 360 yung naandyan. Okay? And for the second one, the same, no? 30,000 times 0.07, but this time we use the approximate time, which is 569. The same denominator, 360, kasi ordinary interest pa din. And for the exact interest, the same procedure, the same formula, but this time, ang gagamitin natin na denominator, okay, 576 is the actual time, yung denominator na gagamitin natin will be 365. Okay, so this will also be 30,000, then 0.07, then this will be 569, okay, over 365. 5:69, di ba? Yun yung approximate time. I hope you learned something from this video. In my next video, I'll be discussing compound interest. Thanks for watching.